Well, it's Sunday morning. I just got through watching a virtual uh, sacrament meeting uh, online with my church, which is the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Um, I noticed that Sarah, I noticed that you made a comment on one of my last videos. Uh, just got it. People out there that uh, leave comments. I don't get notifications of when you leave a comment. I have to kind of go back to that video and see if there's comments. I should receive notifications of comments left, but I don't for some reason. But uh, it would be probably better for people that want to leave a comment to comment or leave a comment on the latest video, and then I'll be more apt to see it because check, basically, I check the latest video, and I just don't bother with the past videos because I have so many of them. So it's just easier for me to notice the videos or notice the comments on the last video. But Sarah, I appreciate it. I listened to the song. It's a absolute beautiful song. Beautiful words. I've never heard of the song before. The Art of Getting By. I mean, it's the words are incredible. Um, I'm really glad that you sent me um, your comment and wanting to share that with me because it is really, really a beautiful song, and the words are so meaningful and true. And it's, the woman's voice that sings it. She has a great voice. But I appreciate you, Sarah, for sending that to me, and your kindness, and your friendship. You're a really good friend, and I appreciate your friendship. I had a woman not too long ago that I had a friendship with from Melbourne, Australia, and for months and months I had a great relationship with her, and she can't associate with me anymore because of the way I think, because of the horrible way I think, I guess, about God. The idea that I think that God and Jesus Christ are separate people. Horrible, horrible thing to think. I don't know. And I really cared for this woman. Um, it's a sad thing. It's a sad thing that I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say. It's just sad that they're. Uh, it's sad. I feel sad for the friendship that she thinks so little of me and the friendship that we had that I'm put out to pasture. I'm put out with yesterday's garbage like it meant nothing. And that really, really hurts. And anyway, Sarah, thankful for your friendship. I hope that you're feeling better soon. I know that you have a situation with your arm and your shoulder, and it's not a fun period of time in your life. You have a lot to deal with, and I hope that you start feeling better soon, that you get full use back of your arm and your shoulder starts feeling better, and that God will pour out his richest blessings upon you. I'm thankful for all the other kind people that leave me kind messages. I appreciate your friendship as well. And I appreciate the um, time that you spend to uh, listen to me rattle on at times. I haven't shaved again today. I guess I'm just kind of lazy. Uh, I'll probably let it go for a couple more days, maybe, and, and then I'll realize that I look, I don't know, 10 years older than I really am, and then I'll shave it off again. But I hate shaving. I absolutely hate shaving. What a pain. What a pain in the rear end to have to shave every day. I hate it. But anyway, I one of the things that they talked about in our sacrament meeting today was forgiveness, and that's a very hard thing for me to do. Is to forgive someone. Uh, I have people in my life that have hurt me, that have been mean to me, unfair to me, um, and it hurts. It does hurt, but I have forgiven those people. I have to, re-forgive or redo the process every now and often for people that had hurt me more recently, like this woman in Australia. But months ago, I don't know, it could have been a year ago, I forgave everybody that has hurt me and gave those things to God to deal with because I can't deal with them. It hurts too much to think about those things, to relive those things, to be a victim twice. It's just too difficult. And so I've given those things to God. And, God has told us that we have to forgive everyone. He also says that it's up to him who he forgives, but we have to forgive everyone. And he also tells us that unless we forgive our fellow man and woman, that he won't forgive us. So I think that people people in life that hurt us, sometimes they are jealous, sometimes they want revenge, sometimes they want to purposely hurt us, they want to knock us down a level. um, I don't know. There's lots of things. Some people are just plain stupid, I guess, and they don't know what they're doing. You know, I don't think that most people are stupid. I think most people are quite aware of what they're doing, but I don't think that. And I'm sure there are some people out there that don't realize that words cut. The words, the mean words, cut deep, and they probably don't realize or think about how those words hurt. And I'm telling you that if you're holding grudges and you're holding hurts, deep hurts, regardless of whose fault it is, regardless if it's their fault or not, if you forgive those people, you don't have to uh, go along with what they've done. You don't have to agree with what they've done or what they've said. Just forgive them. And I'm telling you, the peace that comes through forgiveness is so much better than keeping that hate and that venom inside of you. And that's exactly what Satan wants you to do, is to despise people, hate people, curse people. The last thing he wants you to do is to forgive people that have been complete jerks to you. He wants you to hate them. He wants you to hate Heavenly Father's children. He wants you to hate your brothers and sisters. If you had voodoo dolls, he'd like you to get your voodoo doll out and stick pins in them. Teach them a lesson. But just try it. Just think about all the people that have hurt you in your life, that have done you wrong, and forgive them. And you'll feel so much better. The people that I've forgiven, I don't go along with what I don't approve of the things they've done. People were assholes, but I forgive them because we're supposed to forgive them. I think about it once in a while, but then I realize in here and in my heart that I don't have to worry about them anymore. I've forgiven them and I've put it in God's hands. And it just makes me feel so much better to know that God has to deal with it. He is dealing with it. He's comforting you. He's seeing that you're doing what he wants you to do. And that pleases him. And it should please yourself because you're doing what God wants you to do. Just forgive, whether it's a family member, could be a child, it could be a parent, a friend, an associate. Just forgive them. Just forgive them. You want people to forgive you, don't you? Don't you want people to forgive you for being a jerk? I've probably hurt people in my life. I didn't mean to. It could have been a word. It could have been a word that I used. I could have gone up to a woman I haven't seen for years and years and didn't realize that she'd put on a lot of weight, and I could have looked at her and said, geez, when are you, it looks like you're expecting. When's the baby due? I had that happen. I think my sister had that happen. I've never done it myself, but my sister had that happen to her one time. Because my sister had put on some weight, and someone came up that knew her, hadn't seen her for years, and says, well, hi, Beverly, when's the baby due? Well, that person didn't mean that, to be hurtful. I mean, it's funny when you think about it. It's not funny to the person that's put on weight, I suppose, but that person didn't mean that. Some people do mean to be mean because they're jerks. But even jerks are Heavenly Father's children. Even jerks are your brothers and sisters. So just remember that God will forgive whom he wants to forgive. But with us, it's required that we forgive everyone. Everyone. So try it. It's not easy, just try it. So that's my sermon on forgiveness. What else I wanted to talk to you about? Animals. I've talked to you about this before. There's a site on YouTube called The Dodo. I'll put a link in the description in the bottom of the video. The site is called The Dodo, and the whole site is videos of really cute stories and video of animals. Whether it's an animal that someone found out in the, out in the boondocks somewhere that was starving or almost, dying, and they've rescued that animal and brought him home or whatever. And it's just stories and photos of animals being rescued and saved, and it's amazing to me how animals have feelings and how they love people and draw close to people that have rescued them from from a life-threatening situation. Could be any kind of an animal. I mean, look at some of these videos. It is amazing how these animals show love. Some of these animals come back. They come back every day or once a year or whatever it is to show the person that rescued them that they love them and they're thinking of them. I mean, it's so touching. I love animals. I despise or people that hurt animals, that neglect animals, that abuse animals. They're the scum of the earth. And we have dominion over animals in our lives, but having dominion over animals doesn't mean that we have to torture them, neglect them, eat them, abuse them, leave them for dead, kick them. I mean, it's just sickening. It's just sickening how some people just abuse the animal kingdom. I save flies. Honestly, I go out of my way when I'm outside. If there's an ant, crawling along in front of me on the sidewalk, I go out of my way. If I see that ant, I go out of my way to step over that ant or not step on that ant. Why should I? All it's doing is trying to survive. All it wants to do is, go across the sidewalk and maybe try to find some food. Why should you smash it? We all know that you're big and powerful. We all know that. We know you're tougher than the ant, but you don't need to kill it. We know you're a big shot. You don't need to smash it just for the fun of it. I had a friend. They used to take grasshoppers, and he used to spray grasshoppers with like hairspray or shaving lotion or whatever, and then he'd light them on fire, and then they'd hop like that on fire, and he thought that was funny. I said, John, how can you do that? They're living creatures. They have feelings. They hurt. He thought it was funny. Sick. There are sick people out there. Anyway, I've had several instances. I had one time where I had, and I told you this before, I suppose. I had a Wendy's shake that I had put in. I put it in the freezer to keep it frozen, Anyway, so I took it out, brought it upstairs, set it on my desk. I mean, it was frozen ice cream. And anyway, I looked at an hour later, whatever, I looked at it, and there was a fly that had landed on the cup and he froze. I was blowing on it and trying to nudge it. It was frozen. It landed on the cup and froze. So I took it off the cup, put it in the palm of my hand, and kept blowing on it. I blew on it to try to unfreeze it. Kept blowing on it, blowing on it, blowing on it. Finally, I could see some life. It was kind of moving around. Anyway, I kept blowing on it, and I kept nudging it to see if it would crawl a little bit or walk a little bit. Finally, after doing this for a long time, I had froze it, and I could see that it was trying to use its wings, and it'd go like that, and then I'd blow on it some more, and then all of a sudden I'd try the other side, and go like that. Anyway, I don't know how much time I spent with it. Maybe a half hour, maybe maybe longer. And finally it started. It was okay, and finally I was nudging it, to try to give it encouragement that it could walk and go places. Anyway, it finally flew off, and that night I was sitting at my computer, and a fly came and landed on the exact hand, on the palm of my hand, where I was, blowing on it. Anyway, he landed on my hand and stayed there. He just stayed there. This fly stayed there. If a fly lands on your hand and you go like this, it usually flies off, right? Or you go like this, it flies off, or go like that, it flies off. This fly landed on my hand, and it didn't matter if I was typing on my computer or bending over to tie my shoe or, drinking a Coke or whatever. The fly just stayed there. It just stayed there. It stayed there for maybe 20 minutes, and then it flew off. That fly came back for 2 nights. It came back for 2 nights. I think it was 2 nights. Came back right on the hand, then flew off after it stayed there for, 15, 20 minutes. And I could do anything. I could go like that, scratch my hair, pick my nose, whatever. It wouldn't fly off. It wouldn't get scared. That was the same fly. I mean, it would have to have been the same fly that I helped save. Sounds stupid, I know. I do that. I do that almost every night. I get up to check on my birds. I have 2 parakeets. And almost every night there is, I'm not sure what you call them. It's not a fly. It's like a mosquito, but it's not a mosquito. It's a little bit bigger. I'm not sure what it is. But almost every night that I check on my birds, just to say hi or whatever. Yeah, I love my birds too. There are 1 or 2 of these things in the bird's water container that are just there. They're just drowning, they're just floating around the water, dying, helpless. In a helpless situation. So I scoop them out with my finger. I scoop it out with my finger, get it on my finger, and of course my finger's all wet, and they're all wet. So I take it over to a towel, and I try to get it from one finger to the other because the other finger's dry. This finger I scooped them up with is wet, of course. So I kind of go like this. Then I blow on them because they're just ready to die. They're drenched. So I blow on them and blow on them, blow on them. Then I wipe the finger off, that was wet, get that dry, blow on them, then kind of scoot them on the other one because this is still wet. So what I try to do is warm them up, get rid of that wetness, dry them out. Then I carefully put them down on this towel, and then I keep blowing on them, blowing on them, blowing on them, kind of nudging me along, and they kind of walk a little ways, and then they stop, and I blow on them, blow on them. Finally, after a little while, they fly off. I mean, it sounds dumb. I know it sounds dumb, but these are still Heavenly Father's creatures. They're gonna die. They have no one to help them. They have no one to help them except me, baby. And if I can save a little fly, I know it's not a human being. I know that. It's an insignificant fly, or not a fly, but whatever this thing is. Why should I let him die? Give him a couple more days of living. All they want to do is fly and have fun and find things to eat, whatever it is. I love that. I absolutely love that. I captured a huge bumblebee one time in my bathroom. It was huge, and it kept trying to get out the window because it could see out the window, but it kept hitting itself against the pane of the window pane, trying to get out. And I was trying to, and I thought, man, anyway, so I think, how can I get this outside? I could open the window, but I had a screen on the window, so that wouldn't help. So anyway, I had this bright idea that I was going to get a box that had lids on it. And anyway, and I was going to capture this bumblebee inside the box. And then when it was in there, I was going to hurry and put the lids down and then take it outside. And that's exactly what I did. I was lucky enough to get him in the box, hurry, put the flaps down on the box, and I could hear it inside going around the sides, trying to get out. So I hurried and walked downstairs, went out in the front, opened up the lids, and this bumblebee went straight up in the air. I mean, I would imagine that bumblebee was quite happy to be outside again, to know that all was well again. That made me feel good. It made this old guy feel good. Now, if you don't want to save flies and different things like that, be good to your pets. Be good to your pets. Don't make sure they're fed. I have an acquaintance that anyway, I won't go into it, but make sure they have plenty to eat, plenty to drink. Give that cat or dog or pig or whatever pet you have, give it love, give it security, give it some time, play with it, tell it you love it. Don't abuse it. Don't be mean to it. You have dominion over that animal. That animal, you're all that animal has in life. You can either be a loving owner of that pet, or you can be a complete jerk to that pet. And Heavenly Father, if you think that God is not keeping score with what you do in this life, you, my friend, are mistaken. There's not one thing that you do, not one thing that you think that he's not completely 100% aware of. And if you think you're going to get off in the next life with your crap that you did here, you're mistaken. You're not. Anyway, be kind to your pets. I'm going to play a game with you. I've talked to you about this before. I've had the opportunity in my life. I've had probably 500,000 full newspaper sheets, original newspaper sheets, about 500,000 of them. And I have spent about almost 30 years going through this collection of newspapers that I have. Huge collection. I have a double garage completely full of newspapers. Bound volumes. A lot of them are bound volumes. And that I got from the Historical Society. And anyway, so I've spent 30 years approximately going through newspapers, putting family histories together for people. And so I've had the opportunity to see hundreds of thousands, probably 1,000,000 photographs of people that are in the newspapers. There might be a group of people that might be 20 people, in a group or whatever. But I've had out of 30 years of experience, I've seen probably 3 people that look like someone that I know. I saw one guy that looks like my father. It's not my father, of course, but he looks like my father. I mean, how many ways, you think about how many ways is there that you can put eyes and a nose, ears, mouth, hair together? How many different combinations is there? I mean, I'm surprised that there's more people that don't look like each other. But there's not, is there? I mean, how many people do you know that look like somebody else, huh? Duh. Anyway, if you go on YouTube, just punch in like, well, not YouTube, but just go in to the regular search results and put in old portrait, old photo of woman or whatever it is. And most of the old photos, I mean the really old photos, most of them, they don't smile. They're just like this. There's a reason for that, is because they had to stand still, stay still, for the camera. The shutter or whatever. They had to stay. There couldn't be any movement because of the camera. So they had to pose and not smile or not sneeze or blink their eyes or whatever. So most of the photos you see in old people are just... Now, a lot of photos that you see of old women, for instance, I'm not talking about teenagers. I'm talking about, well, some teenagers, but mostly older people, in their late 20s, onwards, are not very attractive, A lot of old people just look plain ugly. They were hit with the ugly stick, Anyway, I have looked at these photos. I looked at a group of women that were some of the ugliest women I've ever seen in my life. And I looked at these women, I thought, who in the world would ever want to marry one of these women, you know? Who would ever be proud to marry one of these women? Good grief. Who would want to be seen with one of these women, you know? They're ugly. They're homely. Now, homely in Australia means a great housekeeper, you know, homemaker, whatever. Homely in America has a different meaning. It means ugly, wallflower. No one wants to date her. No one wants to be with her. She's homely. Complete different, opposite meanings than it is in Australia. So, anyway, I've looked at these women and I thought, man, they are really bad. Who'd ever want to marry one of these or date one of these? You know, I wouldn't. And then, don't ask me why. I don't know why I did this, but I did. And I thought to myself, I looked at one of the ugly women, face of the ugly woman, and in my mind, I thought, now, if I was in the hospital and I was really sick, and let's suppose that this ugly woman was a nurse 150 years ago, and let's say I was alive then. I was very sick in the hospital, probably going to die. Let's suppose that this ugly woman that I was looking at was a nurse, and she had walked 25, 30 miles to come to be with me because she was a nurse. Let's suppose that she, even though she was ugly, that she walked, could have been in the snow, could have been in a blizzard. Let's suppose that she walked to the hospital or wherever I was. Excuse me, I got somebody knocking at my door. Hang on. Back again. I had to answer the door. There's some lonely, sexy woman out there that wanted me to invite her in for a hot chocolate. I told her I was busy, you know? Maybe I should have told her to come back later. Oh well. Anyway, where was I? Anyway, let's suppose that this ugly woman came to be with me, to sit with me, to, I don't know, maybe she's gonna wipe my forehead with a nice warm towel, or she was just gonna sit with me to try to cheer me up. But these glasses, they're crooked. Anyway, so the point is, this woman went out of her way to come to try to comfort me and to help me. And if she did that, if that was real, would I look at her photo and her ugly presence the same way? Having that experience, would I look at her as an ugly woman? No, I wouldn't. I would look at her as a beautiful, caring, loving woman that went out of her way and took time out of her busy. I hate these glasses. Is that better? No, not really. Out of her way to help me and to try to comfort me. I would look at her as a hero, as a saint, as an angel. I wouldn't look at her as someone that's ugly and stupid looking. I would be so proud to be seen with her. I'd be so proud to know her. But I think and you look at every ugly person out there, woman or man, whatever, in these old photos, and think about what I just told you. Just pretend that you were very sick as a child or as a teenager, whatever, in the olden times, and this ugly looking, plain man was a doctor that traveled so far out of his way to try to come and comfort you. Would you look at him the same way after that? Once you look at that person as a saint, just try it. I'm going to put a link in the description. Can't remember what the name. Let's see if I can find the name of it here. Anyway, I'm going to put it photos coming to life. There was a guy, very talented guy. I can do this. Not as good as he can do it, but I can do it. I can't colorize it like this guy can, but I can make the animations. But anyway, this guy, he's taken some old photographs that are black and white or sepia tone, and he's colorized them. So he's transformed them from black and white to beautiful colors. And then he's taken it a step further. He's animated their face. Not a lot, but you'll watch it. That it's like this old photo is coming to life. They're starting, with their eyes to look around and to blink. If you notice that most of the women at times will kind of put a smile on their face. But you look at these photos, whether it's in an antique store or whatever, and you've seen photos. You've seen these old photos that they're on a hard cardboard, and they just look. They're old. They're just old. They're old photos. They're old photos of people. They have no significance because they're dead. They're old. They're ugly looking. They're not alive. They're just an old photo on a piece of paper or on a cardboard. But when you look at this presentation and all of a sudden it's colorized and all of a sudden you can see little facial features coming to life, their eyes kind of, blinking, their mouth moving a little bit, maybe a smile. And it's like this nothing person, this forgotten person that is insignificant in your life is coming to life. And put it on your computer, put it on your computer so you can be close up looking at it, not on your TV, but do it on your computer screen. That's nice and crisp, your computer screen, and on full screen. And anyway, and look at the transformation of this photo coming to life. And all of a sudden you see this person that is a real person. They start blinking, and it's like they're being reborn. It's like dying and waking up in the next life or in heaven. But you look at this and you realize these people are real. These people aren't just some thing that's slapped on a piece of cardboard or a piece of paper that have no life. They have, they're not important. These people are real. These people had loves in their life and tragedies in their life, and happiness and sadness and families and God in their life. These people are real. But just look at this video. I mean, it's absolutely incredible. Anyway, I'll put that in the description. I just thought I'd share that with you. Another thing I want to put in the description is there is a really cute 5-year-old girl on David Letterman that she's such a little doll. Talk about innocence. Talk about the age of innocence. Such a sweet little angel of a girl. I want to share that with you. Let's see. I'm also going to put in the song that Sarah sent to me called A Leap of Faith. I want you to listen to her sing and to look at the words on the screen. Absolutely beautiful. Thank you, Sarah. I appreciate that. You're very sweet to send that to me. And I think, let's see. Yeah, I've gone over the dodo on different things. That's pretty much it in a nutshell, I think. I've wasted, if you're still there, I've wasted about 45 minutes of your time looking at this old, what do you look at? Seriously, you look at my face, you think, oh, this guy's ugly, you know? This guy is pathetic. No one could love this guy. No one could love this guy or care about this guy. And as the person in Australia, no one could ever want to have anything to do with this guy because of the way I think. The horrible, stupid way that I think. Good grief. Anyway, that's my 47 minutes worth of stuff for today. I thank you, everybody that supports me, everybody that's been kind to me. I hope I haven't bored you to tears. I do care about the people that have been kind to me. I know there's people out there that have problems. I have my share of problems, believe me. And one of the scariest things I've ever dealt with in my life is getting old. It's not because I'm worried about meeting my maker. I'm not worried about that at all. Just there's so many things in life I want to do before I die. You know? One of the things that I really want to do, like I've mentioned before, is make, I have about 50,000 3D images like this. Anyway, you put them in a 3D viewer and they become 3D. And I won't go into it, entirely go into it, but so I have probably about, let's say 400 fabulous 3D images. And my goal is to have maybe 2 children's hospitals in each state, each of the 50 states. Like, for instance, St. Jude's Children's Hospital in Memphis. Is it Memphis? Anyway, I think it's Memphis, Tennessee. These children's hospitals are incredible. St. Jude's is incredible. To think that they care for these children for free. They have accommodations for parents to be with their kids. You get a tour of St. Jude's. It's incredible. It's incredible all the things they have for these children that have cancer, terminal illnesses, you know, just to try to brighten their life up. But anyway, I want to get about 100 sets. I'll have to buy viewers like this. It's a long story. These old viewers. What I'll do is convert these little 3D things to this size. And then once it's in this size and you put it in the viewer, Look at it, and it's three-dimensional. It's incredible. But I have to convert it. And I know how to do it. It's just time consuming to do it. So I'm going to convert my small slides into big slides by viewers. I'll have to print off about 40,000 prints and then distribute it to different children's hospitals around the country just to let them have the fun of looking at these magnificent images in 3D. One of the things I'd really like to do, I don't know how I'm going to do all this stuff. It's going to take me about 25 grand to do it probably. So, but anyway, one of the things that would make me happy when I'm dead is to know that there are 100 children's hospitals where there's kids that are down on their luck, that are scared, that are depressed, that are dying, but are having fun looking through a viewer like this into a three-dimensional world of images that are just so cute that I think they're going to love them. And it's going to make me feel good to have done that for these children. Maybe I'll do nothing else in my life that'll be noble, but I hope that I can do that. And I hope that I have the time to do that and the resources to do that. Anyway, that's my 51 minutes for the day. Hope you have a great day. Again, thank you, Sarah, for sending the beautiful song to me. I'm sure there's lots of people out there that have left me messages on different videos, but unless it's on the latest video, I just never see it. It was a happenstance that I saw your message, Sarah, on one of my previous videos. So, but thank you, and I hope that you, Sarah, are able to start feeling better soon. And I hope that everybody out there that has problems and sadnesses and different things will start feeling better as well. And anyway, talk to you soon.